and try something new. This evening's program is brought to you by Old Familiar Ways, who provides us with herbs and spices every month to do this, and our very own Wild Spork, sometimes known as Lee Negrelli. And today, this afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching it, the question is, why would you buy it when you can make it? Hummus is one of the easiest, least expensive things to, I think,
yes.
ever. You don't need a stove. You barely need a refrigerator. And it's good for you. It's like packed with protein, and it's yummy, and you're going to see something adventurous. We actually have a recipe this evening.
It's probably not going to work.
We're not going to use it, but we have it. Because I'm making dessert hummus for the first time. Have you made it before?
I have made some versions of it, but no, let's just say I haven't made it.
Unsuccessful versions of dessert hummus? I've never made it.
Yeah. I tried to do a chickpea cookie dough situation a long time ago. It wasn't good.
Whoa, that sounds a little not good. It does sound a little
I think there were potatoes in it.
Ew! Wow. Okay, we're done now with that conversation. Okay, step one, I'm draining the hummus.
Wait, you used the liquid though on yours, right?
I do.
Oh,
Which
you
is
drained
why,
it
thank
first?
goodness, I'm putting them in the bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. I drain the chickpeas. Hummus is chickpeas. That's what it is. It's chickpeas and stuff you add to chickpeas. And I drain them. I drain the liquid off, usually into a cup. In this particular instance, it's going into a bowl. And then I use a kitchen appliance that I thought for years I didn't need ever, and it is my favorite thing. I would be lost without my food processor. Have you made things that require food processors without a food processor?
Probably. You just have to chop for a really long time.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see you being able to do hummus without a blender or food processor.
Yeah, you need a blender or a food processor, one of the two. Then, actually, I'm doing this the old way, which is not the best way, but we'll take it. This is garlic that when I buy it, I peel it, put it in my trusty food processor with a little bit of olive oil and turn it into this, so I can just grab it and dump it in spaghetti sauce or hummus or whatever I need garlic in. And the real question is, what don't you need garlic in? And then, so again, we're not measuring
I
this.
stole your measuring spoons.
No, I don't measure this. There's garlic, plop. This is traditional, everyday, basic hummus.
So the ingredients you for sure need to make a traditional hummus are chickpeas, tahini, which is sesame seed paste. It's basically like if you made peanut butter out of sesame seeds, and lemon juice. And you can kind of play with the other ingredients. Garlic is usually in there, salt is usually in there. Kathy uses the chickpea liquid as her liquid. I usually use water, and it doesn't really matter which one. I think the only thing to possibly note is that the chickpea liquid has some salt in it, so if you use that liquid, taste it before you add your salt.
Well, and I am a proponent of tasting it along the way anyway.
Yes.
Because you want to taste it, you want to check it for texture, and you want to taste it for taste. Okay, lemon juice. I usually have I have my mother's juicer, but I didn't bring it. Okay, did you measure hummus or did you just stir it?
I stirred it.
Okay. I know, she's looking at me like, you're gonna measure? Why would you do that? My rule of thumb is a quarter of a cup of hummus for 1 can of chickpeas.
Tahini.
Tahini.
It'll
Tahini.
turn into
It'll
hummus.
turn into hummus after you
Hummus
grind
to
it up.
be.
But a quarter of a cup of tahini for 1
Can.
can of chickpeas. And that measure holds pretty well. I like it, but I like the taste of it. Again, none of this fits. None of this is written in stone, folks. Just make it up as you go along. So there it is, all the parts. Chickpeas, lemon juice, garlic, and tahini. Flop in the food processor. We put on a lid.
So the process for this is kind of to put in your solid stuff, and then you're going to stream in the liquid gradually, so that you can gauge the consistency as you go. And I'm just saying that now in case it's too loud to hear once we
And it's
turn on
gonna
the
be.
machine.
And actually, when I make this at home, I do this in a different order. I process everything but the chickpea. I put in the lemon juice, the garlic, and the tahini first, and kind of grind that up. And then I add the chickpeas and grind that up, and then add the liquid. I don't know, I read somewhere that it was a good idea. So that's what I do. Here we go,
Here we
be
go.
prepared for loud noise. Or not,
Uh-oh.
as the case may be. No! What are you doing? This is not the day to do this.
Did we check the electricity?
We did, she was running a minute ago.
You have the lid on right?
Well, there's a key question. No, you can't.
What if we plug it in straight to the wall?
Let's try that. Poor little girl.
We're gonna be far away.
Don't be sad.
I'll just hold it.
You want a chair?
No, this is great. Okay. Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
So it's already starting to get creamy, and so it's not going to need a ton of liquid, I don't think.
Which is why you don't pour it all in at once. You really want to add it gradually because it can get really soupy really quickly. He's sad now. Not bad, it's salt. That's a nice. All right, let's unplug her for a moment. Come here, little girl. You're fine. It's so weird. I wonder why. Have we not plugged things in and made them work before?
We have not. First time.
Well, then that fixes it.
Yeah, so this stage is when you taste, add more salt if it needs it, add lemon juice if it needs it. And if you want it to be super creamy, sometimes when it gets to this stage, I'll transfer it to a blender because that'll get more creamy. And real, true hummusers will tell you to peel the skins off of each individual chickpea, but
Yes.
that's insane, and don't do that.
That's how much time do you have? Oh my gosh.
But it will, if you really want the creamiest possible hummus, that's the move.
Ignore the fact that I'm licking my fingers. God, I would so get lost and fired at a cooking show. Let's add some parsley because we can. Would you run and get the salt? It's on the shelf in the kitchen. And here's some parsley. It even smells like parsley. I love the shops in this town. I love them. They speak truth. They bring good things.
For sure.
They do.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
You will notice how carefully I'm measuring. Ta-da. That looks about right.
It's my arm workout for the day.
This
Just
is it.
appliance holding.
Okay. I think it's perfect. Yep. Tastes like hummus to me.
Fantastic.
Yummy. And here it is.
There it
Hummus.
is.
It's gonna be about another 20 minutes. Thank you, Kate.
Hummus.
Easy as that.
That's it. And you probably have plugs and things that work. What we do need, however, is something to pour this into.
Yeah, we're gonna end up with 3 hummuses at the end of this,
I'll go get
and
a
we
bowl.
have nowhere to put them. So while Kathy's doing that, I will fill time by telling you that you can turn this into anything that you want. So hummus is completely a blank slate. You can add whatever kind of herbs, spices, seasonings that you want to it. It's particularly good with everything bagel seasoning. That's one of my favorite ways to do it. You can spread it on toast. You can put it on sandwiches or burgers in place of mayonnaise. You can serve it as a side dish. Some places serve it warm, which is really nice with some nice flatbread or pita. There's just a lot of options. It goes far beyond just dipping a cracker in it.
One of my favorite things to do is if you have an avocado that really probably should have been eaten yesterday, add it to the hummus.
Ooh,
It is really good.
that sounds great.
All right, ma'am.
Okay, so our next savory hummus option is going to be a little bit more unique. We're going to make a dill pickle hummus, which is I didn't come up with the idea. There's actually a gas station in Willoughby that has like 1,000 hummus flavors.
Yes.
So they do a dill pickle hummus, and then my mom made it recently, and it was really good. So
We're stealing it.
we're stealing the idea to do something a little bit creative. And I've never made it before, so of course we're winging it. I shouldn't have told you that. I would have just pretended I knew what I was doing. So for this one, we're going to chop up some dill, which I'm thinking might just go on top as a garnish, but we'll see how it goes as we get there. And I'm going to use the pickle juice as the chickpea liquid.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not as the chickpea liquid. In place of the liquid of this hummus is going to be pickle juice, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you need some kind of liquid to make it do this. And I guess people use oil.
Some people use oil. I like to just drizzle the top with some olive oil. I think it adds a nice extra layer of flavor. But I never use olive oil as the liquid.
Or sesame oil. I mean,
No, though I think some people do that, and it just adds a ton of unnecessary calories. It doesn't make the hummus necessarily taste
I
better.
don't think so.
You're just adding oil for the sake of adding oil. But like I said, it is nice with a little drizzle on top. So I'm just chopping up some pickles right now. Kathy's going to troubleshoot the electricity. She's a trained electrician.
You betcha. Huh.
So if we move this a little closer to the wall, but that'll mess up the camera, right? So we should not do that? Okay. We won't move this closer to the wall. We'll continue holding
But we
the
can't
food
get a
processor.
chair.
Well, we can also get an extension cord, which would solve the problem. So,
All right.
or we can just hold it, which is way easier.
All right, so I'm gonna drain the chickpeas, and I'm gonna end up rinsing these a little bit too. So these have the nice pop tabs, so I'm just gonna open it like halfway and drain them out that way.
If you want to get technical, different brands of chickpeas do taste differently. They just do. It's like anything else.
This one doesn't need to be rinsed. We'll rinse the dessert one for sure.
Okay.
And then this will be okay.
But not enough to worry about it, frankly. I mean, they taste differently, but not enough to matter.
I'm gonna add garlic. I'm going to. I guess we still use tahini, right?
Hey man.
Just a little bit. I'm using a little bit as I pour in half of the jar. It'll be fine.
Oh yeah, there's not really such a thing as too much tahini, frankly. Oops.
So we're gonna turn this baby on, and Kathy's gonna scream in some pickle juice for us.
I am?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Where would that be?
Right there. I'm gonna have to scrape this down. So if your food processor kind of shoves everything off to the side and it doesn't seem like it's blending anymore, just turn it off, scrape it down, keep going and do that until you can get everything to be one cohesive mixture.
And this food processor,
We're getting there. Keep going. A little more. All right.
this food processor probably was, I don't know, probably right around $50. And I've had it for again, 15 years. It's not very pickly, it's good.
Should we put some whole pickles in there? Put some pickles in there.
Okay.
Well, you said it's not very pickly and it's good, so does it need pickles or is it good because it doesn't taste like pickles?
Well, for crying out loud. Here, you taste it. I don't know what it's supposed to taste like.
I think we should put some pickles in it.
Okay.
We didn't add any salt because pickles are kind of salty, and we can add salt. But I'm just gonna throw pickles in here, and really go for it, right?
Yeah. This is really fun.
Alright, let's give that a try. So I'm going to, for the sake of everyone that just has to sit here and watch our blender, we're going to pretend that this is ready to go. Well, that is good.
It really is.
It is good, and so this doesn't have any added salt in it, and I think it's totally fine without it. And then we're going to top it with all of our dill and chopped pickles. So
We're gonna have the woman that hates dill and hates pickles but loves hummus taste this
oof.
and see what she thinks.
Is she willing to do that? She looks like maybe not.
She's like she wants me to fly off to my home planet.
Sure, I'll try it. I trust Lee. We don't have to put that part on camera.
Yes.
It
return to my home planet.
All right, so to finish,
Go back
So finish
to
this one off.
Tatooine.
I'm gonna,
Okay, well, I'm not gonna put pickles on it. You're gonna put some olive oil
I'm
on it?
gonna drizzle with olive oil.
That's pretty.
It is pretty. We're gonna top our fresh dill, pickles.
That is just gorgeous.
There you go.
There we
That
go.
is- that's
Lovely.
very
There we
good.
go. So it's, you know, whether or not you like it because it's covered in pickles, it's pretty at the very least. So there you go. That's hummus number 2.
It's not bad.
Okay,
We have approval from the pickle hater, so we did something
That's not
right.
bad.
we have approval from the pickle and dill hater,
There
so.
wasn't any dill on that,
There wasn't.
Mm-mm.
but the
That's
pickle
true.
part was good.
Excellent. Okay, so now we're gonna swap machines so we don't have to take more time out to wash this one, and we're gonna jump into dessert, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, baby. Dead camera space. Perfect.
Don't worry, we're still here.
Smoking cinematography.
Okay. So we're making a chocolate hummus. You can do this with chickpeas or black beans. And I've actually made brownies with black beans and they turned out pretty good. So I know that that works in a chocolate application. And as long as we drain and rinse the chickpeas, they don't have any flavor. They're not going to have the saltiness or the brininess that comes on them. So there's that. Hopefully it's good. And we're going to dip some apples and Nilla wafers in here. Pretzels are good. Anything that's covered in chocolate can work for that.
Do I have to hold the new baby?
You can if you want. She's heavy.
I can hold her. I will hold her.
Okay, so we need to rinse the chickpeas. I don't want to use salty brine in the dessert one, unless Kathy does.
No.
Okay. So we're just gonna pour a little water in this can. If you have a strainer handy and a working sink, of course it's easier, but we're making do here, so we're just gonna give it a little
Well,
shake.
actually, the sink works. We could bring it into the thing.
You put water in it?
No, I didn't put water in it because I'm lazy. I'm kidding.
It's a working sink. It just doesn't have water.
Because the sink operator is lazy.
Okay, so we've got our chickpeas.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna add 4 tablespoons of maple syrup.
This is, somewhere in Concord, Ohio. This maple syrup comes from, produced by Sicker Sugar Bush, D. Sicker, proprietor of Concord, Ohio.
There you go.
4.
3.5.
Mm-hmm.
If we're following the recipe, it says 3.5.
Yeah,
So
okay.
3.5 to 4.
So here's what we're doing. We're putting in 3 and
Okay.
then we'll adjust it.
Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Perfect.
That's why they make lids.
Yes.
What's next? And the cocoa?
4 tablespoons of baking cocoa, which is a 1/4 cup, I think. So
Well, we can't because
because it's got tahini in it.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use 2 1/8 cups.
There you go. So tahini actually works really well in desserts. A lot of chocolate chip cookie recipes call for it, and it adds a nice richness.
Really?
Yeah. Very good.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is like barely any.
Yeah, that doesn't even count as a measurement.
So that's we're gonna blend this up, and then we're gonna add in a little bit of water if it needs it. It says the water is optional, so we're just gonna see what happens.
This is like an industrial strength food processor, guys.
All right.
Come here, little girl.
Press auto. We're gonna need that water. So pull out the, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So nice. And I would imagine that if you wanted to make this a little richer, you could add any kind of plant milk
Sure.
in lieu of.
Yeah.
And you could also, depending on if you're a strict vegan or not, add honey. If the kids like that flavor rather than maple syrup.
Or if you're being less healthy, just add straight up sugar.
Yeah, add white death and call it done.
Yeah, let's try it.
We did look at the recipe.
And we definitely added more than the 2 tablespoons of water just because that's what it was telling us it needed.
It needs more.
Sweetness.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a tablespoon. Not. Okay.
Yep.
And it just goes round and round. But I can see why the narrative that goes with this recipe talks about the daughter who said, "Mom, this tastes like the stuff the kids bring to school in a cup and eat with a spoon. Can I have a spoon?" The poor thing wanted pudding. But I can see why, because it has, yeah. Here, try it.
That's dessert hummus.
Good. Drop it. That's a good idea. Here. Now we will give it to the person who would, if a choice were offered, live on nothing but sugar and cookies. And donuts. Don't forget the donuts. So we'll see what that thought is.
And you can make it healthy by...
Well, it's really not unhealthy.
It's not. So if you serve this, I mean, you could do it even like as a breakfast thing with like miniature waffles or something.
Yeah. I mean, this could be
Your own walking table thing.
yeah,
Yeah, so we got some apple slices.
more sugar, right?
No, I don't think so. No, I think that's just right.
Yeah, it totally works. If I was gonna be fancy about it, I would maybe add like melted chocolate as we're blending.
And then dress
Yeah.
the top with raspberries.
There you go. You
That
can do
would be
anything you want.
Beautiful. That would be. This is fun. This is fun.
Good job.
So here we totally have a hummus buffet with all our very organized toppings and that's
Spotless clean up after yourself kitchen, because this is what it looks like here at Fairport Harbor Public Library. Thanks.